Last time we went into this, Mike Trout was an unbelievable captain. Heading into 2026, there's a certain someone that needs to be the captain of this team. I think he patrols right field for the New York Yankees.
Yes!
Mr. Aaron Judge, let's go!
Getting the chance to have USA across my chest and represent all the great people in our country and represent what this country means is a pretty special honor.
I've always wanted to play for Team USA. They had a great group last time, and just excited to be another piece of that.
When I was named manager, the first guy I thought of was number 99. I reached out to Trout yesterday, told him, he said, he's the one.
You want to go out there and win? I think that's the biggest thing.
That's what the U.S. is about. We're winners. We got to go out there and do what we do.
I couldn't be more fired up for Aaron Judge to be the captain for Team USA. I need a redo on that.
No, that's okay. So that was last month.
Yeah.
You at Yankee Stadium with Aaron Judge. But before that, you announced here on MLB Central that Aaron Judge would be the captain of Team USA. By the way, welcome to a brand new hour of MLB Central.
Of World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, Jake Peavy, Mark DeRosa, Robert Flores. Lauren is doing her TBS duties. She was with us with the first hour. I'm kind of nervous. I'm excited.
All right.
So why don't you take it away? You got another roster announcement.
So here's the deal. Number 99, obviously, we wanted to be captain when myself and Mike Hill started to sit down and put this thing together, right? He's the first guy you think of, and he doesn't disappoint. 414, an OPS of 12. He's doing everything. And the boys would follow suit. But the knock on the U.S. has always been, and with no disrespect to the guys that have come, Peave, you've done it twice, is can we get the best arms there in March?
That's always a challenge.
Well, look, it was a challenge for me is how I got on this first team.
Yeah.
USA was a lot of starting pitchers that were held close by the organization. We're seeing what this means now to the game of baseball. Now, I think we're giving.
So once Aaron was taken care of, my dad always said to me, the game begins and ends on the mound.
Of course.
Okay. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm making one phone call, right? Who's the first phone call I'm making? I'm going big game hunting. And I think we got the guy we're going to hand the ball to, hopefully, in the championship game, and we're going to hand the ball to, hopefully, in whatever game he wants
From the Pittsburgh Pirates, Paul Skenes.
This is game-changing, people.
Congratulations, man. How you
This is
doing?
no excuses out there, United States of America. Nah, it couldn't be more fired up.
If Aaron Judge is Captain America, this is the Winter Soldier. Here.
I just want to tell you, when I called him, he screened my phone call, which I knew he would. Never talked before. And I left a message, right? And he called me right back. And I said to him, I said, Paul, I'm going to try and build the dream team. And if I'm building the dream team, you're in the starting rotation. And your words were, I'm in.
Yeah.
And it was no hesitation. It kind of took, there's usually a lot of selling that goes in this. But with your military background, everything, why is this so, or why was this so important for you? No-brainer.
Yeah, when we talked, it almost felt like I was selling you on it. It's important. Obviously, when I was coming through high school, the thing that I thought I was going to be doing right now was flying jets rather than playing, in Major League Baseball stadiums against the best of the best. So I've gotten the chance to wear USA across my chest a couple times, gotten to wear it in a couple different, fashions.
Yeah.
Obviously in camo and obviously in the baseball uniform. And this is one thing, as a fan of the game, watching the previous World Baseball Classics, that I was like, if I ever get the chance to do this, I'm never saying no. So this is going to be the first one, hopefully.
These are some images of your previous experience with the United States across your uniform here. What do you recall about these moments here?
Yeah, that was in Amsterdam, I think. The biggest thing I recall is that we didn't win gold. So that's the goal this time.
This
around.
was during college.
Both in college.
But then you also have experience with Team USA as part of a 12U team.
Yeah, I didn't even know this.
Yeah. So I went to Mexico. Team USA was the only time that I've ever been overseas. So went to Mexico when I was 12 and Amsterdam after my sophomore year at college, and didn't win gold either time. But
how about this shot? Huh?
Yeah, there it is. Back
Look
when
at that.
Back when I hit.
So take me from Air Force to LSU. Did you just get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm going to put flying jets on hold and representing my country on hold? we got something special going on.
Yeah, I think there's a point. There was a point that I got to during my sophomore year at college where it was like, basically, you see people enlist, you see people, become an officer and all that in the military when they're 30, 40, years old. So you can kind of do that at a different point in your life. Baseball, you don't see guys signing and
Playing
entering
at that
minor
age.
leagues when you're 30, 40 years old. So I had one shot to do it.
You know, the thing that blows me away, first off, I'm so honored and humbled that you agreed to be a part of the team. But the way you attacked it when I called you on the phone, putting USA across your chest, and I'm telling you, and Pete, we can talk about it because we played in it. When you get in that room and you put that jersey on, man, something comes over you, and it's different. And I can't begin to tell you, like, not only how proud I am to get a chance to manage you, and you're going to get to work with Andy Pettit and do your thing, but to do it with USA across your chest, it's just different.
Oh, it's absolutely different when you're talking about the best players in the world, and when you're talking about the team that Dominican's going to run out, the Japanese, and so on.
Pujols was here yesterday. He goes, "We're not going anywhere. We'll see. We're coming."
Hey, here's what I'll say to you. I know you started the All-Star game, went to the All-Star game. The coolest part for me with Team USA was the workouts, was getting ready for the tournament, is going to the field with an All-Star team every day. America's best, and I learned so much. Me and Al just went through what I learned from Clemens and those guys, but Jeter and
from a position player standpoint, it's a no-brainer to do this. But like, one of the things he said to me that really resonated with me is he's like, if you need me to help recruit, I know, what'd you say? I know I'm a 22-year-old and just got to the big leagues, but if you need me to push somebody over the edge pitching staff-wise, like.
What would you tell him, Paul, if you had the opportunity to talk to a fellow big leaguer about taking part in this opportunity? What would you tell him?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a very good recruiter, very good salesman, but I think the biggest thing is wearing USA it's unlike anything else, and to do it on this stage, the World Baseball Classic. There's no bigger stage to do it. So. Who knows? You may only have one opportunity to do it, so why not?
Here's your recruiting pitch. Come on and be my stablemate.
Exactly.
And
that's what he
don't
said.
want to be stablemates with the best.
When you watched the last World Baseball Classic, USA against Japan, Trout versus Ohtani in the championship game, what did you think when you were watching it at home?
Yeah, that was back when I was an Angels fan, so it was a pretty cool moment. To watch it come down to those guys, and again, it's the biggest moment in baseball, I think, and to really just like, if I ever have the opportunity to do this, I'm going to.
Are we going to attack Ohtani? You faced Ohtani last year, got him, then he got you. How was that matchup?
It's cool. A little bit surreal, but yeah, I mean, you kind of have to put that on the back burner a little bit and hunker down and get outs.
That's right.
I know that the guys in our next segment are going to break down. You pitched very well yesterday against the Mets. The Mets are a very good ball club. What were your overall impressions facing that lineup for the first time this year?
Yeah, they're deep. Saw them last year a couple times. Obviously, they got a little bit better this year. They're a good ball club. You can't really get away with too many mistakes.
Yeah, like you said, that deep lineup. When you're talking about Alvarez and some of those guys down there hiding in the bottom.
Well, we got him here.
Yeah, that's right.
I want him to teach a little bit.
That's right. We're going to have much more with Paul Skenes in studio.
Are you kidding me?
Very special day here on MLB Central.
Keep your phones next to you, American pitchers. Here we come.
When we come back, D-Row and Jake going to take a closer look at Paul's plan against those New York Mets, take you inside the start as he faced some of the best hitters in the Mets lineup yesterday. I'm talking him versus Soto, him versus Alonso. It's Skenes on Skenes next.
Obviously, I walk around and I kind of see it. Like when I go to school, when I wear the uniform, it's kind of like me representing the military, representing the nation as a whole, and this is kind of an extension of that. Possibly the biggest honor of my life, being able to wear USA on my chest, and I mean, honestly, I get chills just talking about that.
Wow, that fires me up.
All right.
If you were just joining us, we announced a few moments ago that Pittsburgh Pirate Paul Skenes will be pitching for Team USA at next year's World Baseball Classic. He's now over with Dero and Jake Peavy, taking a closer look at his start last night against the New York Mets. Take it away, fellas.
Yeah, Peave, let's cook.
Well,
right?
first off, for you to get up out of bed today
Yeah.
after throwing those I know what it feels like after start day. We love you for coming in here.
When you
Congrats
make these
on-
calls, you don't know what you're getting on the other side. And when he just shut me up and was like, I'm in, shut your mouth, I'm in, I'll figure it out. I was like, wow. I hung up the phone. I was like, I was texting Judge. I'm texting all the boys. I'm like, hey, man, things are changing.
Yeah, no, exciting stuff. And like I said, the recruitment stuff of it is just people want to be around the best. Since you've been in the league, you've been as good as anybody as you've seen. Let's dive in.
Let's bring the first board up. I mean, how dominant you've been in the game. I mean, ERA, you're first since May 11th of 2024. Strikeout percentage, you're fourth. I mean, did you expect? I know you expect success, but did you expect to dominate at this quick?
Yeah, I don't know. I when I got called up, or when I was anticipating getting called up, it was really just, I want to go up and pitch as well as I can.
Yeah.
I think success is kind of relative. Obviously, the stats, say
One thing.
one thing.
You put the work in, though.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's all you can do, and then that stuff will take care of itself as it should. So that's pretty much how I've looked at it and how I'll continue to look at it.
I love the fact that you came up overpowering stuff, swing and miss. Guys hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Now, as you've got around the league, guys are seemingly got a better plan. But you're still, the changeup starting to come into big play last night. I love the fact that it's give and take. Do you feel like guys this year have a little bit different plan, making more contact, certainly, right?
Yeah, for sure. Makes it fun.
Right.
Makes it, if it were easy, everybody would do it, right? So, yeah, it makes it really fun. Learning these things. Obviously, got a new catcher this year that we're working together on it, and it's making it a lot of fun to where we can learn together and kind of figure it out together.
All right, the game moves at your pace. That's the first thing I want to bring up. You could tell in that USA video, but Peave did a breakdown a couple weeks ago. I mean, my man Pepio's not even off the mound, and you are coming charging like a bull. Has that always been the case?
Yeah, it started when I was in college, just to loosen my body up, basically.
Really?
Still a little bit of the case, but kind of just how it is.
Well,
what?
to your teammates, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, it sets the stand. I see you standing over there when there's 2 outs in the inning. And that, I would do this on my start day. You are responsible for the other 8 guys' energy and how they play. When they see this, that was what I took out of it. Let's go. It's my day. I'm on the mound. I love it.
Yeah,
All right.
set the pace.
Let's get into your mechanics a little bit, because Peavy thinks they're interesting, a little bit short stridey. I'm gonna let you guys cook on this. What are you thinking right here? When did you come up with this? Have you always had that short arm? And then you've kind of dropped a little bit. Is that by design?
It's kind of just how it happened. It's a little bit of like a early in the season thing, just because my body changes throughout the season, and I don't know the degree to which I've dropped.
Yeah.
Back that again.
Back that up.
Just talk us through here. I think the load here is tremendous. Obviously, the power, we see you getting ready before starts and you getting your core and stuff locked.
Pause that.
The thought process, what is, like last night, you trying to find command early on. In your mechanics, what's the thought process that gets you locked in or back? What's a few ticks?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday specifically, my hips were moving fast. My lower body was loose, just how I woke up that day. So that's kind of one of those things that you have to figure out as you get going a little bit.
Yeah.
Felt it a little bit in the bullpen pregame, and then I went out there and felt it even more when I was on the mound. So I was like, all right, let's get through this first inning. And then we went down in the tunnel and made a couple adjustments.
What is that adjustment? If you're talking about your lower half, what did you guys go down and work on?
Just tightened up my hips a little bit.
Okay.
So, I mean, didn't fix everything. It's kind of one of those days where you have what you have and you got to compete with it.
Well, I think last night that start shows you didn't have your A stuff. You go out against an incredible team in their ballpark and give up 1 run. That's what makes those starts. I want to go back to your stride length. I think
Yeah.
most people would think you being 6'6", 260, this stride would be a lot longer. Are you cognizant of getting your foot down early? Is that something that you think of, or just?
What do you think? Can we get you up on the bump?
Yeah, I'm not thinking. I'll say that. I'm not.
No, of course not during the game. But I'm
Yeah.
saying when you're like, so you never think about stride length at all.
No, it's a thing for me really where I started pitching when I was, I don't know, 5 years old, 6 years old, whatever, just playing catch. My dad's sitting on the bucket and I'm throwing to him. And the whole thing with that, my dad never coached me on pitching. It was just like, let your body, without him saying this, it was let your body organize itself. He said it because, he didn't want to screw me up or anything like that. But that's really how we have this. Like, my body has just learned to organize itself. And, you hear guys talking about extension and all that. I'm not an extension guy.
So you're not diving into the analytics at all, biomechanics? You in on that?
Yeah, I am. It's just like, this is how I move, and this is, we're going to figure it out. So there are guys who have elite stuff, in part because they have elite extension. I'm not that guy, probably because of the stride length thing. It's how I move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I'm telling you, those stride length for me was so critical. If it got too long, I was going to be late.
Yeah.
And you have a little bit of movement there. I think that your shorter stride length allows everything to happen out front for you and plays critical. Walk me through this. You had, at some point in time, you had a huge come on from Air Force to LSU. Where did you get in the lab? Where did the velocity and the huge jump come from? Was it working out legs? Combination of all?
Yeah. We just saw some videos of me pitching when I was at Air Force. It's a little different build than I am now. So it was funny because when I left Air Force and when I got to LSU, Air Force, it's just, baseball is the third thing. It's school, it's military, and then it's athletics. So I'm getting 8 hours of sleep a night. I'm not eating as much as I can or how I should, just purely because of time. And I get to LSU, I start sleeping 9 hours a night. I'm eating a lot more food, the right food, all that, and then pretty much immediately, without making any mechanical adjustments, saw a pretty good tick in velocity. And then we got into the mechanics. Got in the lab.
Your hand swallows the baseball.
Ron Darling talked about it all night last night.
Yeah, I don't know.
The low arm, I want to get into how you hold the baseball before we get out of here, but the arm angle. I showed this year on our metrics, and I didn't see this with my next eye, but have you always been kind of where you are now?
Yeah, so it's lowered.
Take a look at this.
If you watch some,
But look at your velocity in comparison to the other guys that are dropped down. Now, obviously, Sale can run it up there. There's a couple guys in there, but
I don't think people think of you as coming from this low of a slot.
3/4.
yeah, I think that's one thing that happened when I did get to LSU, because before that I was a primary catcher. I got recruited as a catcher, and the thing as a catcher is to get through the ball, kind of stay behind it, and keep it as straight as possible to second base. So once I got to LSU, my natural arm slot is a little bit lower, and without really, I can't remember working on it ever, but it just naturally lowered. Our pitching coach knew that this is where my arm slot should be, and maybe this is just a continuation of it. I haven't thought about it a ton, to be honest.
I love that too. You go out and compete, be an athlete. I've had multiple coaches. We'll dive into the analytics and the metrics, but at the end of the day, go out there and fight and compete.
Yeah, I think we were showing here that you were a touch lower this year, and then what I was seeing from our guys was the changeup, the splinker, slider, all coming out of the same slot.
Let it run.
Makes a big
Let it run. So yesterday, take me through the mindset yesterday, because just in the trust tree, right? It felt like you hung a couple sliders to some good hitters, but then when you needed to, it was like right there, like Brandon Nimmo. Now let's get out of there. Let's go change up. See you later.
Yeah, if you don't have one pitch, you got to use the other ones.
Okay, so you're going change up there. So what's the difference between the change up and the splinker?
Yeah, I mean, the splinker, I throw it as a fastball.
Really?
It's not a true splitter. It's not a true sinker. So I throw it as a fastball. think fastball and it just comes out of my hand a little bit different. The changeup's a true changeup. I've been throwing this since I started pitching. You know, when I was 10 years old, and it's the first pitch you learn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn it before you learn the curveball, before you learn the slider, and I guess I've just developed the feel for it over the years.
Show me
There's
those.
so many weapons to go to. Like, there's nights, like, literally, as an old school guy, I'm like, I want to run out to the mound and be like, will you just bully your heater right by people? Like, go get them.
Yeah.
Right? You're just like, have all this power stuff, and it's like, there's 7 pitches. That's tough to, like, lock in on that.
Yeah, and night like yesterday, like, it would be nice to bully heaters, but if we're missing, like we saw that Nimmo pitch, like, you kind of have to go to the other ones.
I thought, well, me and him talked about that. He goes, I thought he would have thrown more fastballs, but I thought it was a lot because we know when you get out there how your fastball's playing that night.
Do it, Dev. Go back.
Lindor took some good swings. His first swings were decent on it. He started using it. I want to go back to the pitch grips. I'm pitching in this East-West All-Star game at Recruitment Field in a month, and I need some help. Walk me through.
Watch this nasty pitch. 98 away. Now let's drop the little splinker on him. Oh my. I mean, people. I used to call home. My dad would be like, "Why are you swinging at that? That ball's in the dirt. It's a 94 mile. It looks like a 98 mile an hour heater, and then all of a sudden the bottom drops out of this thing. So this is like you're treating it like a split.
Yeah, I probably pitch with it like a split. It's a true, or it's not a true split, and it's not a true sinker. You see a lot of guys throw their, and I throw my sinker now with my fingers together, like that, and a lot of, I can count on one hand the guys that split their sinker, and that's what I was trying to do the whole time I was at LSU. I'm trying to learn the second fastball, and I'm basically banging my head against a wall, trying to learn a sinker with this grip, trying to throw it off my middle finger here, which is how you throw a sinker. And then one day, but I think it was between the draft and when I signed in Pittsburgh, I'm playing catch with it, and I felt one come off my index finger, and the bottom just dropped out and kind of it bit, and I had never felt that before, and I was like, all right, let's do that again.
Game on.
Here we are.
So you think when I threw a split, and I said this not too long ago, that was my thought process. To throw this, I had to make sure this index finger, obviously it's going to play off this, but this index finger had to go. I had to make sure that I pointed that thing at the catcher, throw it, and feel it off that.
Yeah, it happens the right way because I rip it like a fastball, and I come through it, with confidence. And
Pete was a tough AB all night last night.
he's a good hitter.
Yeah, he's feeling it. You can see he's seeing the ball. He's got complete command of the strike zone. He had swung at a couple of those sinkers in off. Pause that real quick, because I was wondering in my head, 3-0, you were willing to walk him in that spot, right?
Yeah, I'd rather not, but
Because 3-0, you're throwing, what was that, splinker?
that was a splinker. Yeah, and to be honest, like yesterday specifically, that was what I had.
Yeah.
3-0. So threw it there, and I was kind of feeling that he was going to go.
I
It
thought
wasn't
that
an
was.
auto take.
I thought this was the sequence.
He
of the
wasn't
night.
taking. He wanted to be the hero.
I thought this was the sequence of the night right here because Pete took a good swing in his first at bat off the slider. You knew you had to go to something there. You went to the slider, he fouled it off, and you guys both realized, no, let's go to the changeup. He hadn't seen that yet, and that got you a pivotal strikeout. Again, last night, I don't think that many people understand. You go out there a handful of times. This year, how many starts we got? 7, 8
around
right
there,
now. What, 1 or 2 of them you went out there and haven't thought and probably just bullied your way to doing what you do. The rest of them, you go out there and you work through them like last night, right?
Yeah, it's tough, but it's the game.
Sometimes, honestly, and I have to pinch myself doing this job, I couldn't be more honored and humbled that you decided to do this. I think it's landscape changing for the event, especially for the United States. And it's going to change the way the WBC is played with USA across the chest. Couldn't be more fired up. And I know you got a full season, but every night I'm sitting there just jotting stuff down. So we will protect you to my dying day. We got that. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, no, appreciate it.
Well, beyond that, too, I appreciate the way you've went about it. You've come on the scene with so much hoopla around it, and you've handled it all with grace and class. And a role model for our young ones. The game's in good hands, Paul.
Robert, I'm fired up.
Let's
buddy.
Yeah, as you should be. Paul, congratulations. And I know baseball fans can't wait to watch you next year and Team USA take on the world in the World Baseball Classic. That's Paul Skenes, pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and now Team USA joining us here in studio.